If you're seeing that your weight does yo-yo over the year at the moment, or you may have even been stuck at the current weight that you are for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and at the same time fitness might be on a plateau, or going into the winter now, you might actually start to see that fitness decrease, then today I just want to share with you this 2-part coaching video where I'm going to share with you some of the techniques, the coaching, the implementation that I've now done with my clients over the past 5 to 10 years, busy founders, directors, senior professionals, who we have helped lose 10 to 15 kilos while at the same time increasing their FTP by 25 to 50 watts. If you would like to go out and check some of those testimonials, reviews, case studies, I know there's a lot of promises out there on the internet at the moment, certainly on social media. So we have specific, designated, validated testimonial pages, reviews, case studies. The link to that is in the description below. And you can check out some of those and just see some of those actual results that we've helped with real people in the real world who are very busy, cyclists, transform not just their cycling, their performance on the bike, but also, their health, their fitness, and their life in many cases as well. So check those out and let's dive straight into this video today where I really want to help you. So part 1 of this coaching video today is just really looking at your training. I speak to so many people when they first come to us, have an initial consultation, and they're almost like a bit of a rudderless ship with their training. There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet that talks about VO2 max, threshold, FTP, zone 2 training, sprints, primers, sweet spot. There's so much out there. And I almost find that sometimes when I'm speaking to people in initial consultations, they're almost so confused at what they need to do that that's actually preventing them wanting to do any exercise or build any consistency. So just to really emphasize to begin with, we just want to actually get riding. We want to actually start building some consistency. Certainly now, as I film this video, we are really coming into winter now, November, December time. We want to just start building some consistency again. You might have had quite a good summer. You might have done a little bit of riding over the summer. You might have felt quite good this summer. But over the past few weeks or months, you might have lost that little bit of motivation now. So it's about just reigniting that spark again and just focusing to begin with. I would say always trying to just work with 3 rides a week. Now, you might be able to do more than this. 3 rides a week, if you're watching this at the moment, might actually not seem like much to you. But I find just to begin with, it's better to slightly, potentially undercommit to the amount that you can do, rather than overcommit and say, right, I really want to just jump back into doing straight away 5, 6 rides a week, not being able to commit to that, trying to do it for 10 to 14 days, falling off the wagon with that a little bit, getting demotivated, and then being back at step 1 again. Okay, so it's better, I always find when we're just starting to really get things going again, is start by committing to 3 rides a week. Now, if you can do, to begin with, a great structure to work with, and as I say, a lot of our clients that we work with are very busy founders, directors, senior professionals who also have families and got loads of things going on in their life. Don't even actually sometimes have time to think about what they need to do here. And that's where we do come in and we lay out a structure and work with you to do that. But even if you are one of those individuals, then I think 3 rides a week is also still realistic. If you can start to actually just be a bit more structured, take your calendar maybe from a Monday to a Sunday and actually start to prioritize some of these rides, you can really start to be consistent with that as well. And a great place to start is if we can do 2 rides that are 45 to 60 minutes in length to begin with. Now, these might be during the week, should we say, or you might have to do 2 at the weekend and I can only have time to do 1 during the week. But if we can every single week commit to doing 2 rides that are 45 to 60 minutes in length, okay? And at the moment, let's just put all of those things that I mentioned a moment ago, whether it's a VO2 max, threshold, sweet spot, sprint, zone 2, whatever it is, just put that aside for the moment. We just want to actually start to just get a structure in place with our training that we can commit to and be consistent with. As I said, the best plan, the best exercise plan is the one that you can stick to. Okay, so to begin with, 2 45 to 60 minute sessions. If we can then do a little bit more on this and we can do 1 session that is, should we say, 60 to 90 minutes, this with our clients is typically the one that is normally done at the weekend. So it might be on a Saturday, it might be on a Sunday, you might incorporate this into some group, club, social riding that you're doing. If that in the winter, that might be virtually, you might still want to ride through the winter as well. But just by actually laying this out as our anchor, if you like, with the week, that we really want to just commit to this. Anything that then happens on top of this is a bonus, which is great. If we know that, yeah, we've done our 2 45 to 60 minute rides, we've done our 1 60 to 90 minute ride, but for whatever reason on a Thursday or at the weekend, you can add on a little bit more to this and 1 more ride, that's a bonus. Or in the winter, if you can maybe start doing a little bit of strength training, not only for performance on the bike, but also just longevity with your health. It's good to do some loading. It might be another sport that you play. It might be that you like to mix things up a little bit in the winter and do a little bit of running or other sports out there, whatever that might be. Team sports, anything, yeah? But just by laying this foundation to begin with and actually mapping it out, if you can do that, take your calendar from a Monday to a Sunday and actually prioritize these rides like they are meetings within your diary, important meetings that you might have with your team, clients, whatever that is. Try to block out that and find that time that works for you best within your day. That might be that you have to do it. A lot of our clients have to train at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to get this done. But yeah, doing a 45 to 60 minute ride at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning is possible if you can get up and get it done there. Some of our clients have to fit it in at lunchtime. Some have to do it in the evening. Okay. But just by actually laying out that strategy, getting that in place now, certainly the time of year that we're coming into is going to actually just give you some focus, not feel like you're just a rudderless ship waking up being like, am I going to ride today? Am I not going to ride today? And the great thing is once we have this structure in place, we can then actually start to implement some structure into it with the type of sessions that we're doing. And we're going to move on to that now. So let's now get some structure. Let's give you some direction with these sessions that we've mapped out. So the very first thing that I would recommend you do before we actually get into this is we just do some testing. We benchmark where you are specifically at right now with your fitness. It's really important that we do this. One, so we've actually got a benchmark to track progress from, because if we can track progress and you see that you're making progress, then if you're anything like me and the clients that I work with, then that actually builds motivation. If you can see that you're making progress, your numbers are increasing, you feel like you're getting fitter, then that actually wants you want to then carry on with it. It builds momentum, it builds enjoyment. And again, that is the most important part of any training structure plan or anything that you're doing. If you're seeing that you're making progress from it and you enjoy it, you want to keep going, okay? The second reason is that we want to actually know that when we're getting on the bike and doing these sessions, that they are aligned to your current specific level of fitness, okay? Big mistake that I see a lot of riders, cyclists make is they may have done an FTP test or got some numbers from a ride that they performed very well in the summer, where we are typically doing the most riding and are our fittest during the year. Okay, and what they'll then do is they'll take that FTP, just an example, if you're using FTP to track this, and they'll just stick that back into the platform that they're using, and they will try to train at that again straight away after potentially not doing much very riding at all and fail the sessions or just find them a lot harder than they are. That makes it harder, motivation drops, fall off the wagon, or you are the training, but you will not see that you will make progress from your sessions that you're doing because your FTP may be set too high or too low. So it's not specifically targeting the systems that I'm going to share with you now. Just as a quick example, if you're doing a VO2 max session or a threshold session or a zone 2, specifically with zone 2, if you're training at an FTP that is too high because it's from earlier in the year when you were a lot fitter than where you are now, or maybe many years ago, then that really isn't going to be zone 2 riding that you're doing anymore. It might be actually zone 3 or threshold or maybe even VO2 max, right? So it's really important to begin with. We benchmark where you're at. Easiest way to do this, if you do have a power meter, as I said there, or an indoor turbo trainer, indoor bike, and you're using some of the platforms, is just go and perform an FTP test. Find where that number is, enter that into the platform that you're using. We've then got that benchmark, and we know that every time we're getting on the bike, we can actually start to track and know that we're hitting the systems that I'm going to share with you now. Now, to begin with, if we're doing these 3 rides a week and you haven't done much riding, or really at this time of year, November, December, and we're just trying to build some consistency again, then for these 3 rides through the week, you can almost just get on and do some good quality zone 2 riding. Around 70% of your FTP, 65, 70% of your FTP. I would say this is so easy to perform, okay? It might be a little bit tedious, but 45 to 60 minutes of zone 2 riding early in the morning on the turbo trainer for me, whilst listening to a podcast or watching something else that might be with professional development or catching up on, I don't know, another sport that you follow or watching some cycling, that time for me it's brilliant. It's almost like meditation. You're just there, you're doing your session, you're cruising along at zone 2, feeling really good, nice power, you're watching something, you're doing something else, you're learning as well, so it's almost killing two double bang for your buck, if you like. You're improving your fitness, your health, and you might be doing some CPD at the same time, all right? Learning about something else that interests you. And I get off the bike after doing that for 60 minutes, I feel great, like, yeah, I've done some exercise and I'm feeling motivated to go into the day and learn how to actually film some better videos for YouTube, for example, yeah? So I think to begin with, 3 to 4 weeks, certainly at this time of year, of just going through just these 3 rides a week and doing that zone 2 ride, and it's going to allow you to build a good aerobic base. It's going to allow you to be consistent. It's going to allow you to start building that robustness and getting used to being on the turbo trainer again. You may be doing this out on the road as well, which is great. Obviously, if you're getting out and you're doing some riding, then that's really good as well. You might not be listening to your podcast or watching something there, but you're still going to be getting those benefits of being out in the fresh air, which is great as well. But just by laying a foundation block of 4 weeks, should we say, of doing this, it's going to get you back into riding again, or certainly if you are coming onto the turbo trainer again, it's just going to get you used to being back on the trainer. The trainer's great. If you have been doing a lot of riding outdoors, obviously outdoors it can be a little bit stop-start, you have breaks, you're not always hitting that specific target power. I guarantee you, like 100% guarantee you, if you get back on your trainer after not being on it for 4 weeks and just do 3 sessions a week, targeting 70% of your FTP, constantly spinning those pedals at 70% of your FTP for even just 60 minutes without having any breaks, and you do this for 4 weeks, you're going to feel fitter. You're going to feel so much fitter. You're just going to feel like that base is really coming and you've laid a really good foundation to then move on from there. Okay? Once you've done that for 4 weeks, I would then really recommend that you potentially retest benchmark FTP. You'll definitely see some progress, 100%, if you're doing this and you do it consistently. Just know it, as I say, from all the people that I've worked with and helped do this. And so that will ensure that if you've seen some progress, when we then move into our next block, which I'm going to share with you now, so stick with me, that everything you're then doing is aligned to that new FTP. But what it's also going to do, it would benchmark that progress, and you would say, oh yeah, maybe I've increased my FTP by 5, 10, 15, 20 watts. We normally see within a 4-week period, with some of the sessions that I'm going to show you now, an 18.4 watt increase within the first 4-week block of all of the clients that we work. That's an average. From the 221 clients that we've worked with so far on our initial 12-week block to begin with, within the first 4 weeks, they see an 18.4 watt increase, whilst the average weight loss within that period is 2.8 kilos within 4 weeks. Okay, and this is just through doing some of the things that I'm showing you. As I say, I'm just taking what I've learned in the past 5 to 10 years with helping those 800 individuals, and I'm just sharing this with you today now. Okay. So we've done our first 4-week block of zone 2 riding. We're now coming in, we want to add a little bit more specifics. And this is where we can start to add in a little bit of, certainly VO2 max is a session I would 100% recommend, even if it's in the winter, okay? Because one, that's gonna, it's the best bang for your buck session just in terms of improving FTP, bringing up all of your fitness, your top end, bringing up your zone 2, improving your climbing, but also just for your health. Really, once a week, putting in a VO2 max session in here, you'll probably add it into one of these sessions. Bringing this in once a week, getting that heart rate up, bringing up to heart rate max is so good for your health, cardiovascular health. There's so much research coming out on this at the moment now as well. And if we can make that one of those sessions to begin with in the next block, that's the only change that I would make. Okay, so you've benchmarked the FTP. We know that is, you can go onto some of the platforms. I mean, this is what we would help you if we work together. We'd show you, right, these are the sessions, this is the intervals and everything. But a really standard session would be like a 4 times 4 minute at 110 to 115% of your FTP, depending on how much riding you have done coming into starting a bit more of a structured block like this. Okay, so add that into one of those sessions and then just keep doing the other sessions as zone 2 for your next 4-week block. Okay, I'll just keep doing that, and that will take you probably through to like January, February now, or just if you're actually following a bit more structure with this. Yeah. Notice we haven't increased the volume. I haven't asked you to start doing more riding. I haven't asked you to start doing any crazy things. All I've asked you to do is just change 1 ride a week. We've done 4 weeks of consistent riding now at 3 rides a week. We're just changing that session slightly. We're not increasing the time or anything. We're just cranking that intensity a little bit. Okay. So 1 session in here, the other 2 will be your zone 2. Okay. And to begin with, for now, that structure, just by following that, if you to do that now and retest again at the end of the 4 weeks and increase that again, so just go and do another 4 weeks of that, you'll see fantastic progress with that going through the winter. Coming into the spring, one change that we might make, okay, just to give you another tip here, we may start to increase the volume a little bit. Certainly if you're somebody who, should we say next spring, you're going to do any events, you've got any big rides that you're planning to do, you're doing some group rides, you've got some holidays planned, cycling holidays or trips, we might start to extend the volume. And one other thing we might start to do is we may, at the right time, implement a little bit of threshold training to help you just with your climbing. Certainly those sustained type climbs, if you're looking to go and do Mallorca 312, Attack the Tour, just come and do some riding over here in the Alps, you go into the Pyrenees, you go into Spain, anywhere in the world. We've got clients over in the Rockies, if you're going to go and take on some rides in the Rockies next year. We've got clients over in the Middle East, if you're looking to do some of the stuff over there. We've got clients in Dubai, we've got clients in Abu Dhabi. Wherever it might be, we may actually start to implement and put a little bit of threshold work in there at the right time. But just by taking this structure to begin with will be a game changer for improving your fitness and your health. Part 2 of today's coaching video, then, this is probably the most important part, so stick with me here, and that is nutrition. Because we can have the best training plan, we can be doing loads of exercise, we can be doing all the right sessions, but if we haven't got the correct nutrition and fueling to go with that, then we're going to burn out quickly. We may start to lose weight too quickly or run out of energy. We may actually overfuel and then not be seeing any potentially weight loss targets that you're trying to achieve at the same time, or just really not maximizing what you're actually getting from the training. You might be spending 10, 15 hours a week on the bike, but just seeing that the fitness is completely stuck on a plateau because you're just not fueled correctly or really the right nutrition to go with that training. So today I just want to share with you how we can actually implement this nutrition and fueling strategy that I've now done with my clients, as I mentioned there. Those 221 clients just from this year who we've helped with those averages of the 18.4 watts and 2.8 kg within 4 weeks. That's just what we've seen this year from the 221. But from the past 5 to 10 years, those 800 clients, this is the absolute key, which has helped them be successful and achieve those results, which you might have seen on the testimonials page there. So the great thing is, now that we have our training structure, we know when our 3 rides a week we're doing those, give or take. Obviously, some things always crop up and we need to be flexible. But we roughly know from a Monday to Sunday the days that we're going to be riding. We even now know the types of sessions that we're going to be targeting as well, which is great, because every session that you do actually needs to be fueled slightly differently as well to ensure that you've got the energy for it, but it's also just helping you achieve your goals of what you're trying to get from the session. And we can really maximize that by using the nutrition. So the key thing is to think of to begin with, we just need to know where your BMR is, your basal metabolic rate. And this is basically the calories you need to sustain life, just generally, not taking into account any exercise. This is just about you waking up in the morning, doing the key tasks through the day that allow you to live with work, with family, what you actually need to be able to do that. Okay, so BMR is the key thing that we need to establish first. Now, to establish your BMR, there are lots of platforms out there and websites that you can go on to. That's a different video, and I'm not going to, there's loads out there. MyFitnessPal is one of the most popular one. There's the Food Coach. There's websites that you can go on to. There's loads of different ones out there that will allow you to find your BMR. You can put in some of your body composition metrics. You can put in how generally active you are, and it will there or thereabouts give you a figure that you need. Okay, so let's just say, for example, a lot of our clients, if they're looking to lose 10 to 15 kilos, a lot of our clients who we do work with, they are quite sedentary. Unless they're on the bike, or maybe doing some of the other sports, or taking the dog out for a walk, or doing something maybe with the kids or the grandkids, they're not really doing much else in terms of exercise, okay? So we generally see they fall around sort of 1,500 to 1,700 calories as their BMR. So this is just what we need to sustain general life without doing any exercise or training on the bike, okay? Now, the great thing is, when we know we've got this, is we can use this as we're going through the week. So if we know we're on a rest day, and we're not doing any exercise really whatsoever, apart from, as I say, taking the dog out for a walk, doing a little bit. If you've got another tracker that you're wearing, you can also monitor this as well, by the way. It might be like a Garmin or a Whoop band, or again, there's like hundreds out there, so I'm not going to go into too many, start listing them all off, but that will also give you a rough BMR of what you've got. You may find it sits a little bit higher than this. But if we know on a rest day where our calories would need to be, we know we can stick within that. Now, what can be quite hard on rest days sometimes is what needs to actually be done within these calories to support the training so you can recover, not feel actually really quite hungry, because at the moment you might be on a rest day, you might be eating 2,500 calories, you might be eating 3,000 calories, you might 4,000 or 5,000 calories, right? So if we then actually bring you down to 1,500 to 1,700, because that's all your body actually really needs, that can be quite an adjustment. But what we can do to really help with this is educate you on what you need to do with the macronutrients, so your carbohydrates, your proteins and your fats, to be able to support the training with the calories we've got available on a rest day whilst not feeling hungry. And just to really simplify this down without getting complicated on it, again, because I think sometimes that's where the confusion can come in and people then don't even want to start with this, is a basic, this is on a rest day. What we want to do is lower, that pen's gone, just get another one. We want to lower carbohydrates. If we're not doing any exercise, Okay, certainly any high intensity exercise. So CHO, abbreviation for carbohydrate. Okay, we want to lower down our carbohydrates. We're not really, if you're going to be sitting at your desk all day, we don't really need them. You can have a little bit of carbohydrate and you will get that through the sources that I'm going to share with you in a moment. We still need a little bit of carbohydrate for energy, a little bit of sugar in there, just generally through the foods that you're eating, but you can really bring that down, okay? What we want to increase is we want to increase protein sources, can be easily done with lots of natural sources, as many natural sources of protein. When I say protein, a lot of people sometimes they think I've got to go and start drinking 3 protein shakes a day and eat 5 protein bars. Put those aside for 1 minute. Just focus on natural sources. If you can eat them, meats, fish, dairy products. If you can't eat those, lots of beans, lentils, tofu. There's loads of different ones out there, whether you can eat meat and fish and all of those things that I say, or whether you're a vegan or a vegetarian. In the past, certainly what I've seen in the past 24 months, the vegan and vegetarian options, there's so many things out there that you can also use to still get a good amount of protein in to support, okay? Now, the basic amount that I'd like you to target here, if you've watched some of my stuff in the past, is 1.5 grams of protein per kg of your body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilos, you want to actually be targeting around 150 grams of protein per day as your minimum daily intake. Now that might sound a lot, but when you actually do the calculation, for every gram of protein, there are 4 calories, okay? So, and if we've got 1500 to 1700 to use, you haven't even really used half of that, okay? Just by getting this, and this will make you feel full. It will support the training that you're doing. You'll actually be really making sure that protein's available to support the muscle tissue, to support recovery, bones, density, health, just generally everything there, muscle quality, everything, okay? And it's going to make you feel a lot fuller. And you're going to be doing it through natural sources, so you're naturally going to get a lot of vitamins and minerals through doing that anyway. Second thing we want to keep high on a rest day is fiber. Okay? Have I spelled that right? I think so. Looking at that, right? Fiber intake, okay? So fiber, basically in simple terms again, is lots of fruits and vegetables to support this, okay? To go into these, so this is lots of fruits and vegetables. I'm not going to list off fruits and vegetables. It's alongside the protein that you're having. You're trying to get as many fruits and veg in as possible. Again, you're going to get lots of vitamins and minerals. That's going to support your recovery. It's going to improve generally the health of your diet. If you're somebody who maybe snacks a lot at the moment with not very healthy snacks, just by increasing fiber intake, protein, they both make you feel fuller for longer. Research has shown that, and it's going to improve the quality of your diet, just the natural sources of food that you're getting in. Okay? Now, this is the absolutely key bit, so please just stick with me on this. This is the game-changing part now that I'm going to share with you. And it might seem really simple when I share it with you, but the difference is on a training day, okay? We know we wake up on a training day and we've got, just for calculation's sake, we're going to say our BMR is 1500 calories, okay? We're going to do a training session. We're going to do one of our 45 to 60-minute training sessions that we went through earlier, okay? Now, if it's a zone 2 ride, this will depend on how much power you're putting out in that ride. This is another great thing about getting fitter, is that generally the more power that you can produce, it requires more energy to produce that power, so you will burn more calories per hour of riding that you do. Okay, another motivator to get fitter, okay, and get into this now and really, come on, let's get some good training in over the winter, okay? But let's just generally say on a zone 2 ride, easier zone 2 ride, we're going to burn around 500 calories, okay? So that means, and this is the key, we're going to plus, these pens today, we're going to plus 500 calories on a training day where we've burnt an extra 500 calories. So that means on a training day when we've done one of our 45 to 60-minute zone 2 rides, we now have 2,000 calories to play with. Okay? Now, zone 2 riding, you can do this as well, just for the time being, because people may say, why are we increasing carbohydrate intake when you're only doing zone 2 riding? Fat adaptation, great. But generally, the clients that I work with, the fueling isn't always at a great standard. Okay, so people will be doing longer rides, running out of energy, bonking, really struggling with their energy. So I like to begin with just to get into the habit of increasing carbohydrate a little bit more pre-ride and a little bit more during ride, just to start actually installing the habit of improving that. Because if we can do that and start to form that habit, when we start to then increase the intensity, or we start to do some longer rides, our clients are then actually into the habit of, I need to have a little bit of carbohydrate before the ride and I need to have carbohydrates during the ride. And that actually then really helps them, one, perform better on the bike, but be more in control of their appetite through the day. We cut carbs, we don't fuel properly on the bike, we get off, we feel hungry, we snack for the rest of the day, and we start eating 3, 4, 5,000 calories a day without doing any exercise or a little bit of exercise. And that's where that weight plateau can really start to occur. Okay? So the only difference we'll do is we will increase, and this is the key. I told you it might sound simple, right? But you'll be amazed how the difference that this can make to allow you to add 25 to 50 watts to your FTP and performance on a bike whilst losing 10 to 15 kg at the same time. Okay, if you're looking to do that, or however much you're looking to improve, not improve in those areas. Okay, increase the carbohydrates, take the 500 calories that we've done with that, add those as carbohydrates pre-ride, during ride, a little bit more post-ride if you need it as well. You'll have more energy on the bike, you'll be more in control of your appetite. This stays the same. Always, this is a big part of our 1500 is pretty much made up of this. The only change that we'll make is where we're adding this. And of course, if you do a ride and you burn 750, you go to 2,250. If you burn 1,000, just keep adding up. Okay, this has probably had a deficit applied to it. If you are looking to lose weight and you put in, within the calculator that you've used, if you say I would like to lose 10 to 15 kilos, it's probably put you in a 500 calorie deficit, which is fine. We can add those on and still be in a deficit, and that is the absolute key, which will allow you to be successful with fueling performance on the bike, increasing health, increasing fitness, VO2 max, FTP, which is going to allow you to feel much better on the bike, but generally just your all-round cardiovascular fitness in life, whilst being able to really lose that weight at the same time. I hope you found that two-part video there useful. You can do this if you've been struggling at the moment, a little bit of motivation, or been struggling maybe even some of the areas that I've mentioned there, whether it's been your fitness, your weight loss, body composition, or just motivation generally. If you implement this, you will see some great changes start to happen. If you have found this video useful, please hit that like button, that thumbs up below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you would like to have an initial consultation with myself, or just go through what it is you might be struggling at the moment, if I can help, I'll show you what that looks like. If I can't help, I'll try and always point you in the right direction, or maybe even point you to some other videos on the channel as well. I'll see you in the next one.